Thank you. Oh, my shelf is gone. All right, well, good morning, everybody. Good to see you all here this morning, celebrating love. And this is the book that Colleen read from, and I'm going to be taking a few things out of here to share with you today. The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. But before we begin that, it is Valentine's Day. I will share my Valentine's Day poem that I wrote a few years ago. You invited me, so here I am. All right, goes like this. What could be sweeter than love when it's new? Remember that feeling? I do too. Excitement that soars when your loved one is near. Now I know I have nothing to fear. For the rest of my life I will need nothing more, only my sweetheart to love and adore. Then as time slips away, my life still is good, but I'm no longer walking on air like I should. If the magic is gone, should I seek a new mate? Find some excitement before it's too late? It's fun to be giddy and flying high, but these are the feelings that pass by and by. Being crazy and wild when you're young is a must, but what they call love is sometimes called lust. We need that attraction for ongoing birth. Now let's open our hearts, come down to earth. Emerson, Holmes, and other wise sages gave us words of wisdom throughout the ages. With the love of our life, we can build a deep bond, supplanting the first stuff and go way beyond. It's the God stuff, our essence, that's real and enduring, shining light on our loved ones, contentment assuring. On certain occasions, flowers and candy are fine, a show of affection for your Valentine. With our hearts filled with love and oneness, we know the whole world will be blessed. Thank God it is so. Thank you. So the gist of my message this morning is this. As we open our hearts to love, to self-love, love of others, love of everything, when we're led by love, our lives become enriched. So just in case I lose you somewhere along the way, that's my message today, okay? So Don Miguel Ruiz said this. He said, when we master awareness, transformation, and love, we reclaim our divinity and become one with God. This is the goal of the Toltecs. Now, the Toltecs were these people in southern Mexico, scientists and artists. They had this society, and what they wanted to do is they wanted to explore and conserve the knowledge of their ancestors. That's who the Toltecs were. And this Don Miguel Ruiz comes from that line. And this is what he's talking about in the book. And I'd like to begin this morning's talk with a little story he told in this book. And it's going to sound a little bit familiar. The story is about a master who's out, he's giving a message, and he's got his followers around. People are gathered listening to his message, and this one guy really liked him. Are you good? Okay. Okay. This one guy really liked him, and he says, oh, I'd want to have this guy over to my house for dinner, but, master, he's such an important person, do I dare? So finally, he had the nerve to go up to him and say, Master, I'd love to have you to come and dine with me tonight at my house. And the master looks at him, and he smiles, and he says, you get everything prepared, and I'll be there. And so the guy goes home, he's so excited, and he goes out and buys the finest wine, and he buys this great food, and apparently in those days they also bought gifts, and he bought blankets and shawls and stuff to give the guy. And he was so excited to have this happen. And he was all prepared. He got everything ready. And so it was about the time, and there's a knock at the door. So he's excited. He goes to the door. He opens the door looking for the master. It's not the master. It's this little old woman. He's a little disappointed because he's looking for the master, but it's an old woman, and she says to him, "I'm starving. Could you give me some bread?" And he said, "Well, of course, come on in." And he set her at the same chair that was reserved for the master, but he, gave her what she needed, and he ministered to her, and she was so grateful, and she went on her way. So then he got everything spruced up again, waiting for the master. He got everything all cleaned up and ready to go. Another knock at the door. Goes to the door and answers it, and here it is, not the master again. It's this strange guy, and he looks like he just walked across the desert, and he said, "I am so thirsty. Can you give me something to drink?" And of course, the guy, disappointed that it's not the master, but invites him in and said, "Well, certainly," and gives him of this great wine that he bought. And, whatever he needed, took care of the guy. And the guy is so grateful, went on his way. So he had to redo everything, make everything all neat and pretty again. And he's all ready, still waiting for the master. Knock at the door, goes to the door. He opens the door, and there's this little child. And the little child said to him, he said, I'm freezing. Do you have a blanket you could put around my body?" And the guy said, "Well, sure, come on in." And he warmed the child up and ministered to him, and let him sit in a chair where the master would sit, and did all he could to comfort this child. The child was very grateful and went on his way. And by this time, it's getting a little late, but he, cleans everything up again, gets all ready, and he waits, and he waits, and he waits, and finally it gets too late, and he says, "Well, obviously the master's not coming." So he goes to bed. And he dreams that night that the master comes to him. And he says to him, "Oh, I am so glad you came. I'm just so happy to see you. And you kept your word." And in his dream, the master said to him, "But I was here before. I came and you gave me to eat. I came and you gave me to drink. I came and you clothed me. You gave me a blanket to keep me warm." And of course, the message, and the guy figured this out, the message was that whatever you do for others, you do unto the master. Now, this is a pretty familiar story, because it's a story that Jesus told in the book of Matthew. "When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was in prison, you visited me." And so we also do a little of that around here. So it's just the story of the man seemed to tell us that he was led or he was ruled by love. And we can choose to be ruled by love, or we can, as many people do, we allow ourselves to be ruled by fear. And what are the manifestations of fear? The manifestations of fear are things like anger and hate and resentment. Doesn't make for a very good life. Many live life with a continuous fear of being hurt in some way. We try and protect ourselves. Many of you know of my youngest brother, Joey. He's in Spokane, and he told me a few weeks ago, before Christmas, he said, "I've been feeling so down, kind of suicidal." And, then he thought he had a spiritual awakening. Spirit was with him again. And he calls me a week later. "Yeah," he said, "I thought Spirit was with me, and then God dumped on me." And he just wasn't feeling good about life. And what happened to him is that he's been diagnosed with alcohol-induced Alzheimer's. And the doctors are telling us he may not come out of it. They suggested we look for long-term treatment for him, because he doesn't know what year it is. He doesn't know where he is, and they're not sure it will come back. It just reminds me, it says that we put up barriers for protection and keep others away, and we also are restricting our own freedom. We can sometimes live in our own self-made hell. It just feels to me like my brother Joey made his hell. And, we're praying for the highest and best for him, and really the highest and best for our family to know how to proceed in making sure that he is cared for in whatever way he needs. So how does this happen in life, that we allow anything or anyone to steal our joy? How does that happen? Little kids, you can't steal. They're happy. They're just bubbling over with joy. You'd rattle some keys for them, and that's the greatest thing they ever heard. They're just happy people. They're playing with another buddy, and the buddy takes their toy. Well, yeah, they're upset for a moment, but not long. Then they're happy again. They're doing something else. Kids are filled with joy. Don Miguel Ruiz says when we listen to adults trying to make us more like them, that's called the domestication of the human being. When they kind of stifle the joy. When we are trying to do what we think our mother wants, or what our father wants, or what our teacher wants, what somebody else wants. We lose our joy little by little until we forget who we really are, forget that real person inside. We can be manipulated by the opinion of other people. Have you ever done that? Oh my gosh. I remember when I was about maybe 10 years old, my mother sewed me this jacket. It was a nice jacket. It had long sleeves. I think it had elastic around the sleeves, maybe a zipper up the front. But it was pink. And I thought, ooh, pink, pink jacket. I don't know about that. But I thought, well, she made it. I better wear it. So every Thursday night, we'd go to Hinckley and watch the Hinckley Knights play baseball. My whole family, whole neighborhood, whole town. And so as kids, we didn't necessarily sit down and watch the whole ball game. We'd shag fall balls and whatever we did. And there was this kid, turned out he was in my class. I didn't know him then because I was in country school, he was in town school. But he yells at me from quite a ways away, and he said, "Hey, you in the pink jacket, where's your sister?" And my sister, of course, 3 years older, real cute. And I'm like, he hates my jacket. And it just, I'm sure I answered his question, but that idea that he yelled that at me, you in the pink jacket, he probably didn't much care about my jacket. But in my mind, that was his opinion. And my mother had a hard time getting me to wear that jacket again. And I think we do this in all things. Somebody tells you you made something and you didn't really like that flavor. Well, then do you back off on that and try something else? When I was in the third grade, I wasn't very good at this drawing stuff they made us do. And my teacher very gently tried to tell me, "You're no good at this, don't do this." I listened, that was her opinion, that made an impression on me. I think we all do that to a certain degree. Before we get domesticated, it's normal to be filled with this childlike love, and then we start getting these messages. Don Miguel Ruiz tells a story about this woman. She's got this little kid, 3-year-old kid, playing outside. She's watching this little boy, and he's running around, and then he runs onto some surface that she's afraid he's going to fall and hurt himself. She says, "Get back here. Stop that. You're going to get hurt. Get back here right now." And he doesn't stop. He keeps going. She grabs him. She spanks him, and she lets him have it, and "You're going to get hurt, and I told you," and and here's what Don Miguel Ruiz says. He says, "This is the shock that stops love little by little over time." These things. Hey, you in the pink jacket. And then this little kid, spank him. He's running. That kind of thing. Now, on the other hand, I remember I had when my little nephew Kevin was about that same age, 3, my mother was watching him out on the farm. And we had a gravel driveway. It was relatively short. And then there was, of course, the gravel dirt road. Not a lot of traffic, but you got the milk truck, and you got the school bus, and you got the neighbors from time to time. You don't want your 3-year-old out on that road. And so she's watching Kevin and playing. She's working in the flowers, and he's whatever he's doing. And all of a sudden, those little legs are making tracks. They're running down that driveway. They're heading for the main road. And she yells, "Kevin, stop, don't go there. Kevin, come back here." And he's running like crazy. He turns around, looks over his shoulder, and he says, "No way, Gamma." You ain't stealing my joy. And I'm sure she ran after him, picked him up, told him, "I love you so much, I don't want you to get hurt, and there might be a car. And so Grandma and you will walk to the creek later." Oh, I don't know what she said, but I'm just imagining how my mom would have handled it. She didn't steal his joy. But so much of what we do in our lives, what we experience even as children and even as we get a little older. I remember my grandma used to make potato pancakes, and we'd a lot of times have cousins and aunts and everybody over to eat these potato pancakes. It was so much fun. And we were always laughing and having a good time, and my grandma said, "Oh, we shouldn't laugh so much, it's a sin." And I didn't fall for that one. I did not fall for that one. But what I got hooked on at about that same time was, you are a poor, miserable sinner, deserving of hell and damnation. And, that one kind of stuck. And so now it's time to think about dissipating some of those things to their nothingness. This is a book that Debbie called our attention to a few weeks ago, Basic Ideas of Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. And in here he says, "When the sunshine of love and confidence fills your whole being, the darkness of the negatives has to disappear." So some of these things that we are holding that are not serving us, we can dissipate to their nothingness by just declaring that. This doesn't serve me, and just prayerfully say, "Hey, I let this go to its nothingness. It has no control over me anymore." Very powerful way of thinking. We can heal our wounds. We can choose love instead of fear. We can choose to remember that life is for us. The universe is for us. We've got like a partner that's working with us. A powerful, powerful partner. In this book, he also compares love and fear. And in the fear column, he says, anger is fear with a mask. He says, anger is full of pity. Sadness is fear with a mask. Jealousy, fear with a mask. I mean, just think about all the things that we sometimes experience, and it kind of boils down to fear of some sort coming out in some way. On the other hand, what's love? Love's always kind, no obligation, no expectation. Love doesn't hurt. It's based on respect, has compassion, it's completely responsible. Love is always good, doesn't hurt us. So in this book, his bottom line is, fear in action produces suffering. Love in action produces happiness. It's just a worthwhile book to read. So I would recommend you take a look at his, and Celeste might be just doing a series on his books in the book study group. So, and anyway, I timed this so many times and I couldn't get it under 25 minutes. And I like to get it at 20. I don't know where we're at, but one more little story. Okay. In his book, he talks about the magical kitchen. So now imagine that you've got this magical kitchen. And in this kitchen, whatever you want to eat, boom, it's there. All you want, anytime you want, anything at all, magical kitchen. Isn't that great? And not only that, you got enough to give other people. Have some people over, give me your food, plenty of it, always plenty around. And so then imagine this, somebody's knocking at the door. And you open the door, here's this guy, and he says, I got some pizza for you. I'll give you this pizza. All you have to do is everything I say for the rest of your life. I'll give you pizza. You'll always have pizza. You'll look at him and you think, look around you. I got everything I'd possibly want, and I can give it away with no strings attached. Thank you, but no thank you. Off he goes. Now think about another situation. What if you haven't had anything to eat for a while? Think about if you're starving, you're really, really hungry. Here's this guy at the door with the pizza. He says, here, I got some pizza for you. All you have to do is everything I ever ask you to do, and you get pizza every day. Well, you know, when you're starving, you might be a little tempted to say, yeah, give me the pizza, give me the pizza. You're getting the pizza every day, and then you're getting a little worried about what if my spouse is going to give this pizza to somebody that you're getting like, want to hoard this pizza. Crazy stuff. That's one way to look at it. Now think about this story, thinking of food, of love instead of food. Think about the fact that you have all the love that you love yourself, you love the people around you, you can radiate love to everything and everyone in the whole world. You're just filled with love. Just so much love is just, you got no strings on anything, just one big basket of love. That's who you are. Somebody's at the door saying, hey, I got some love for you. All you have to do is whatever I want you to do for the rest of your life. It's like, whoa, why would I want to do that? I got all the love I'd ever want. I got no strings attached. I don't need that. And the point is that sometimes in our lives, we kind of settle for something like that, that when we're so starved for love, that we will do things that we ordinarily wouldn't do. We become somebody we aren't. We kind of sell ourselves down the creek. And the point about this is that there is all the love that you could possibly want. We have access to that Creator, and that love is within us. Happiness is the result of the love you radiate from within. The most wonderful relationship you can have is with yourself. You have to start loving yourself first. It's really difficult to be forgiving and loving of other people if you're hard on yourself. You get to love yourself. Know that you are okay. You are not a poor, sinful being. You don't go into a relation because of need. It becomes a choice. We want to share, we want to enjoy, we want to have fun, we want to play, we want to be happy. If you're generous with your love, everyone is going to love you. As I recall, Richard Adler wrote a song for Doris Day in 1958, which most of you have no idea what I'm talking about, but some of you do. The song is Everybody Loves a Lover, right? And Emerson even says, all mankind love a lover. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson. So if you are generous with your love, everyone is going to love you. So with that, I think I'm good here time-wise. I think I got time to do a spiritual mind treatment. So please take a deep breath and just relax where you're sitting. And I know there is but one power in the universe, and that power is love. It's all love. It's love and peace and joy and abundance. It's goodness. It's balance. It's order. It's got the perfect solution to any perceived dilemma in my life. And that very power which created everything and everyone is within its creation. That same power experiences life in, through, and as its creation, in, through, and as me, in, through, and as everyone. We have that power within. And even though in the past there were times that I might have accepted that offering of the pizza or the love and said, yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Just gimme some of that. Even though that might have happened in the past, I now remember that I am filled with love. I have all kinds of access to love. I don't need to sell my soul down the stream. I now declare, I remember my happiness is a result of the love that I radiate from within. I bask in it, and I radiate this love to everything and everyone. And I'm grateful that this is the way it works. This is how life works. We are filled with that love. I'm grateful for that, and I release these words now to the beneficent conspiracy, which does the work. So it is. And do I leave them with a blessing now?
No, later.
Okay, I'll bless you later. Hang in there.